I know, this thing's like heavy. Really heavy. Especially on New Year's Day with the big hangover. But guess what? I don't have a hangover because I didn't party. I went to bed early. Yeah, feeling great. All right, so here's the project of the day down here in Vista. 3 years into this project, built the pool. The pool looks great. But of course now I need landscaping around the pool. And I especially need landscaping that will hide the fact that I'm just a blue-collar nursery guy. Hide all of my plants back there. See how the wall? See? You know I'm a nursery guy now, but once you go like that, it looks like I'm just some super VIP dude who just could afford a bunch of beautiful palms behind his pool. And then you realize, oh no, he's just a nursery guy. But anyway, we're trying to pull the same effect over here. Big mound. We're gonna put all kinds of cool palms out here. It's gonna be insane. But before I can do that, I'm gonna put a huge boulder there to jump in the pool. Not on this video. Next one. But anyway, we're gonna build a retaining wall in the back. These are all repurposed thanks to Mr. Joe Garcia, my neighbor. There's a video we did at his house for Superscapes, and I ripped all these out like 10 years ago. Used them at the nursery for 10 years. And then now I moved them down here because we don't need them at the nursery anymore. Because we moved our demo garden because we bought a liquor store, which is now the entrance to our nursery. And these were in the old demo garden. Anyway, I bought them all down here, and look, they do a great job of retaining the soil that creates this mounded effect, which is going to mitigate the view shed of all of the boxes and containers for which I'm growing, for which I am able to pay the rent because I sell the trees, all those trees. Anyway, so the idea here is I'm going to make a big arch right here. These are not that pretty. That's why they're hidden in the back. You don't really see them. They're also going to be hidden back here because once you enter back here, it's kind of like, yeah, it's a nursery. But we're going to have a low dugout area here, a little fire pit, and these will act as a seat wall running back around here, retaining this slope. That's what I have to do today. So hopefully all this will be cleaned up, and all this debris will be out of here and all raked up, and hopefully to the point where we'll be ready to plant. The tenants I have now talked me into getting some dogs. And that seemed like a good idea at the time until the dogs decided to just kind of run through the garden and destroy everything. But the good news is tenants are moving out in 3 weeks. So between now and then, I want to get everything ready. And then once they move out, I'll plant all these beautiful, intricate plants. Because if I plant the plants now, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen, Snoopy? Right. They're going to mistake the plants for you and eat the plants instead of eating you. That's the problem. That's why I'm not planting any plants until they all move out. But this house is going to be for rent. It's an amazing Spanish house. Anyway, if you're interested in living in paradise in San Diego County, just 15 minutes from beautiful surf, amongst all the tropical flora that I have, and even more coming, this is your place. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Just gorgeous Spanish house. Look, it even has a bird of paradise window. Stained glass window. Look at that. The previous owner did that. She was super famous. She was a plant collector. So I'm trying to, honor her and keeping this place awesome. And it's even got a bar. And that's where Blake lived, in a little casita over there. He's my caretaker sort of thing. And the garage is over there. And the servants' quarters are off the garage. I'm the servant. So, anyway, but the house is spectacular. But anyway, there'll be a beautiful fire pit here. It's going to be awesome. And the gardens are amazing. So if you know anybody that wants to live in Vista, in paradise, let me know. Off to work. All right, so I guess I should kind of tell you guys sort of how to do this, in case you ever find yourself in such a predicament. So these guys are they have holes in them. See these holes? You can drive rebar through those holes, which will make the thing really hold together better. You can also stagger them. See right now, these are almost in line right here. You can stagger them. That kind of helps make things a little stronger. But in this case, we're not holding back a hill that's pushing on these stones. We're rather just having them hold. Slopes will typically hold themselves at 2-to-1. So we're really they're just holding the slough up here. And there shouldn't be much push or settlement or creep. Creep is when a hill, big giant hill, just keeps moving down the hill. That's when you need a really strong retaining wall so it doesn't bow out. But anyway, we have really good drainage behind this. And when you have good drainage, there is a much lighter retention because the water is really heavy when it becomes sponge-like behind the wall. And so we don't really need to utilize all these rebar holes. We're just stacking them up. And to make them all match, I'm just stacking them up all in line. Lines going up. So they'll be fine, just like that. So what I'm doing now, the most important thing with a wall like this is making sure your foundation is just rock hard solid. And I know this ground is pretty darn hard. and I'm digging down to get it level, keep the wall level. First I have to get that level to agree with me going this way. Once I think it looks level, I'll put the level on it. And then you want to make sure, like I said, that you want to pack this ground really good. And you can see, even though it's really hard, you can pack it even more. See that? Look at the deflection. And once you do that, the wall won't settle. If the bottom one doesn't settle, then the whole wall would be fine. But the hardest part with building this kind of wall is getting the bottom layer right, which is what I'm doing right now. And then I'm actually gonna step it up because the slope goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up. So I'll step it up one step right in here somewhere where the grade agrees with that. And so anyway, let the hard labor begin, and that is my tool of choice right now, the pick. The thing I found really intriguing in this experience of being a landscape contractor, which I really kind of technically still am, but functionally am not anymore because I'm just a nursery guy. But anyway, is how when materials are uninstalled, it's amazing how much space they take up. So I decided to organize things before I really get going here. Put all of the broken stones all together, and I don't think I'm going to need those because I did a count, and it looks like I have just enough to do what I need to do. It'll be fun to see how many I have left over. Basically design this thing and just cross my fingers that I had enough to run all the way along there at this height and then create the seat wall here. Everything always seems to work out wonderfully for me. I think it's because the plants give me good karma because I save so many of them and create so much life. But anyway, as you'll see, remember this shot. Maybe I'll play it back. Here's the shot of materials like everywhere, right? Just spread all over the place. And then once we clean it up, I'll give you another shot. They're literally just going to fill that line right there. So there's the, here we'll do there's the before shot. Here we are again, the before shot, and then we'll do the after shot. That was the best thing about my TV show on Home and Garden Television, the Superscapes before and after shots. So there you go. But it's just amazing. It seems like materials just seem to disappear when you put them in place, and that's just how it is. That's right, no materials there any longer because they are in place. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So I decided to just install as many as I could. The easiest part about this job is stacking blocks. And I decided to get as many in place as possible with given the foundation I've created already, just to get things out of the way. It's amazing. Look at, there they are, just disappearing in the landscape. And as again, I'm getting totally lucky. I don't know I have such a good karma thing. I think it's the trees protecting me. But anyway, look at this. For this particular design, not only did I need a certain amount of blocks, and I think I have exactly what I need to do it, but I also needed to have some that were, cut on angle so I could get a tighter angle here to begin with, so I could get this nice curve I want to get through here. And lo and behold, there were 5 in there. I needed 5. I got 5. There were 5 that were pre-cut. Look how hard that would be to cut. That would be a nightmare to chip that away and cut it and cut it. And so you see what it does. Once I get to full height there, it really hides those containers for the nursery trees. So I'm pretty stoked. So I think I'm going to throw some caps on this one here, and I'll have myself a little bench to sit on, while I waste time and not work, or when I'm thinking, my thinking bench. And then what I also decided here, instead of stepping this wall up, this is really the perfect seating height. And if I had a shirt on, I'd show you. But it's San Diego, and it's beautiful out on January 1st, and why would I wear a shirt if I don't have to? But yeah, I'll show you that later. But 3 high with a cap on it. Here, I'll show you. I think I can do this with one hand. Probably not. But one arm, I can do it. There. That right there, my friends, is going to be perfect seating height. And so I thought it would be better to have a sunken garden, as sunken as possible. So I'm just going to dig this out, just follow that layer, and just kind of have this whole area drop in grade about 6 inches. And then it'll be a sunken hidden garden, and that'll be more mysterious. And mysterious means more cool, and more cool means the garden will be more awesome. And I'm always striving for awesomeness anywhere I can get it. So that's it, and don't underestimate free materials. Whenever you can get them, grab them. The whole trick to free materials is making it look like they weren't free when you're done. So hopefully that'll be the case here. And now we're going to dig this out with the tractor, because there's more digging than I want to do by hand. So that means I got to switch the forks out, get the bucket, and rock and roll in that dirt. first? You want to hear the good news or the bad news? Well, I'll give you the good news first. The good news is that the ground is like concrete here, which means we're gonna have a really solid foundation for this bench wall here. But the bad news is that my decision to make it all one excavated level, it's not backfiring. It's gonna be the best design solution here, but it's making it incredibly difficult because guess why? Because the ground is so hard. I'm pretty much level from here all the way to there. And then that was kind of a struggle to accomplish. But then from there to there, it's like really sloping up. So, which is cool because it'll give you that sunken protective feeling when it's done. But right now, it's extremely difficult. Anyway.
Let's go for a little more dirt crunching here.
So, I'm feeling really guilty, actually. I'm feeling really bad. I'm feeling bad that I just tossed Snoopy just in the ground without any regard to his personal feelings. Everyone has feelings. Snoopy. That is Snoopy. Oh, there he is. Let's zoom out a little. What do you say? Even Snoopy has feelings. So I decided that he's been patiently hanging out with me for this job, and I do see a kind of a slightly unfortunate result of being a beggar cannot be a chooser, in that I have kind of an ugly corner. I had a perfect layout for my capstones. Look, I had one that was broken, and it worked out perfectly to end right here. But then I have this funny little joint. I can't really do much about that, so I'm gonna. Oh, what? What do you? Oh, you wanna be my? Okay. He said he wants to be my supervisor, and he needs a good spot to sit where he can really get a good advantage on the whole entire job. So I'm thinking, Snoopy, that you ought to go in this corner over here because it's kind of an ugly corner, and you're a cute little dog. So when people look up, they'll see you and not the ugly corner. How's that sound? What? Oh, okay. He thinks that's a great idea. So there you go, Snoopy. You can stick in that little crevice right there and watch me do the whole job. And you can let me know how I'm done. Thanks.
Got to give Snoopy a better view. He said he needed to see the whole job site to make sure I do it right. Here we go. Always watch out for this kind of thing. There's this little guy right here. And I think I accidentally chopped his tail off because it's missing. He's trying to escape. I'm gonna put him somewhere in a good spot. Come here, bud. Come on. Okay, got him. Okay, let's go put him somewhere else. Last thing I'm gonna do is hurt you. Okay, there you go. There you go. That's it.
Snoopy, should I check in with the viewer? Show him what I've done. Anyway, like I mentioned, getting the bottom stones down perfectly is just murder. Murder! Snoopy, it's murder! What? Yeah, I know. You wish you could work with me, but you can't. Okay, so you can see how the stone is configured. It's got a slight inward angle on it. That allows you to do inward curves like this, where you butt the joint up. And there's a maximum curve that you can do, which is that curve right there. And then when you want to go the other way, you just open it up like this, and you open it up more, and more, and more, and more, and that gets you your nice curve. Because everybody likes curves.
At least everybody I know. Anyway, yeah, so I think I'm gonna throw a whole layer of stones on top of this because I'm tired of hand digging. I'm on my hands and knees. So this is what you need right here. This is something you can get lots of uses out of. In fact, you should just use these like walking around. If you're like playing rough like I do and running and jumping over stuff, especially if you're riding a skateboard or or if you're just clumsy, or if you're doing work like this, you want to wear knee pads because you can just get down in there, just jump right in. I like the fully padded kinds, not the plastic ones. If you're skateboarding, you're going to want to wear the plastic ones right here because that way when you fall in the pool on the vert, you'll just slide right down. No problem. You got to land right. So as long as you land right on all fours with your pads in the right direction, and the plastic contacting the pool, you'll slide right down, and it'll be like nothing happened. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But there we go, getting the curve done. I'm gonna pile these things up and at least make somewhat of a bench, so I can feel like I got something done. All right, and then I think I have about maybe 3 more layers over here, maybe 4 at the most, and then I'll probably end it with a big boulder right there, and then there'll be a pathway that goes up there. But that'll be another day. I was hoping I'd get this job done today, but the sun is going down. It's not the shortest day of the year, but it's only about 10 days away from the shortest day. But I'm gonna get as much done as I can here. Okay, now there's a problem. You see it? What's the problem? Yeah, right. No more block. No more block. But we need more wall. And I wouldn't know where to get this same material if my life depended on it. It's probably discontinued. It's been at the nursery for 10 years. It was at my client's house for at least 10 years before that. Anyway, and I had to use a substandard block there. So what do? You have to improvise, right? I mean, Snoopy, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I know. I'm just going to improvise. I have a whole bunch of cap pieces. I have more cap pieces than I need. Not too many more, but more. Probably more. And I have some big blocks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big blocks, but these have been compromised and sort of cut. And I'll probably use these. No one will probably know except you guys. However, I decided to walk down to the very end of the wall that I built, like a year ago. Look. It's my lucky day. I'll take that. I'll take anything I can get. Anyway, so here we are at the end of the wall. And I'm looking at it. And you can see it's lined up. Got 4 blocks right there. And they're lined up with this natural rock stone thing I'm going to do. I'm going to basically bring beautiful natural stone like this that I did like maybe a year and a half ago. That's all I could do. Look how beautiful it is, though. It's gorgeous. It's pretty, pretty. Very rare palms. Whole nother story. Don't get me started. Anyway, I got to bring the rock over here and meet up to the wall, but I'm like, you know what? I could rob at least 4 of these blocks. And truthfully, I could probably rob some more because I can step the wall down. And I bet you I'll have just enough. So we'll see how, I guarantee I'll have just enough because I'll make it work. That's what you got to do. And, you know, you're a beggar and not a buyer. I didn't buy these blocks. I got them for free. Look at them all. Super awesome, though. Anyway, let's get this thing done. Whoosh. Okay, that's it. That's all we have left from a lot of blocks. So I just did some math, and here's how the math works out. We had a total of 277 big blocks, and the design that I always had in my head that I hoped I had enough blocks for, and I kind of thought, I think I have about enough, but I'll never know until I do it. I used 276 out of 277. Let me show you the 277th block. It's this one. Right here. Like, a lot of the blocks I used were kind of broken, but I kind of utilized them, and I'll show you where. But that was the 277th worst block of the bunch. There's the face. And obviously you can't use that anywhere because it doesn't have a good face. And then the caps, so that was 99.63% of the blocks I used. And I didn't adapt the design at all. It's the exact design I designed. This is how many blocks I had. So did I just get lucky, or am I a good designer, a good estimator? I didn't know how many blocks I had. I just did it. And then, or is it the plant gods, like, putting this wonderful karma upon me? I think it's the last one. I think it's the plant gods. Now, the tops, we had a few extra. So I just looked through here. I have a whole bunch that have deformities on the face of the block. That's the face, natural face. This one's broken. And when they have a deformity on the face, you can't really use them on the front of the wall because it's the top cap piece. It's got to look good. All of these are full size, but they have deformities. There's some in here that are like half pieces. But of the good ones that are still pretty good, see, here's one. It's a little broken in the back, but it's got a good face and good top. See, it's a little broken right there. But anyway, we've got 5 left over of those. So we used a total of 67 of those, and we have 5 left over. So that's 67 over 72. I believe that comes down to like 93% of the blocks we use. I'll use these for steps. We'll wet set these into some concrete on some little slopes that I need some steps on. So I'll be able to utilize those as well. But it's just amazing how it all came out. And let me show you how it all came out. Okay, so there's the finish of the wall. And we're going to have a pathway right through there. I'm going to have a big boulder set on the end, the terminus of this wall. Maybe another one going around to capture the grade for the slope that comes up. Now, on this area here, I want this area to be completely flat. We'll have chairs on this side. You can sit on the wall over there. The wall is, it turns out that 3 layers of big stone and 1 layer of the cap piece nets out at 22 inches. When you build a seat wall, you really want to be between 15 and about 20 inches. 20-inch ones really favor the big people, and the little kids really like the 15 inchers. In this case, we're 2 inches higher than that, but we will have a couple inches of gravel here when we're done. That will raise the grade a little bit. So we'll be right at 20 inches, the maximum height you want for a bench. That's perfect for me. I'm 6 foot. It's really nice for people that size and bigger. Most people are a little bit smaller than that, so you really want to stick to 16, 17, 18 inches on your bench walls. But anyway, I couldn't change the, the height of these. But anyway, it feels good for me. And my kids are pretty big, so they'll like it. And then here, it's really nice, instead of having steps in a garden, to have a ramp. Think about how they built the pyramids. How'd they build the pyramids? They built a ramp all around the thing, all the way up. Because when you're on a slight ramp, you can just push things up, no problem. And put it on rollers, get 100,000 slaves working for you. You do anything, build a pyramid. But you can't build a pyramid without a ramp. So same thing in the garden. It's really useful. You can run wheelbarrows up it. If you have a little golf cart, which I have, I can run that up it. My golf cart and my tractor are small enough to fit on these pathways here. And I made that gate down there big enough to go through. So I literally could run the golf cart through here, when I'm gardening. It's really useful. So then, like I said, we got to retain the grade on this side with some boulders. We'll do that. I got to clean this area up. This seems to be the refuse area of the furry critters. These dogs are especially loved here, it seems, because they have more toys as dogs than I had as a kid. And I'm looking through, this must be where they store them all. It looks like a piece of pumpkin pie. That's kind of cute. Here is a Pac-Man. Well, no. Is it Mario? Or is it Pac-Man? I don't know. What else do we have here? We have maple syrup. All dogs like syrup. Okay, here's my favorite. The Day of the Dead. That's super cool. That fits the property really well. I gotta clean all these up. A mug of beer. The dogs like this one because apparently they've been drinking a lot because the handle's worn out. Here looks to be I guess that's a snowman. Frosty the Snowman. And here's something interesting. I guess it's a flower. This sure looks like a Monstera deliciosa fruit. Maybe I can use this in the garden and make it look like a plant where nothing would grow. And of course I found some t-shirts. Miscellaneous garbage. So I'm gonna clean this place up. We're gonna get this thing going, but back on the wall. I'll give you the finished shot when I'm all done. Maybe I'll show you moving the boulder. So here's the wall all the way down. And I'll show you how I kind of came up with an ingenious solution here, I think. I like to think it's ingenious. You like to think of yourself as ingenious, most people like to think that about themselves, including me. And remember we had the big ugly spot where Snoopy, where'd he go? Snoopy, he's I got a new spot for Snoopy. I covered up the ugly spot and I stepped the wall, which looks rather nice, I believe. And I did it with all cap pieces once I realized I had lots of cap pieces left over. And so I think Snoopy's gonna, you like that? Like that? Say something. Say something. Say something. How do you say, you talk? Use your words. Okay, yeah, he's happy. There. So I'll probably plant a little plant right here and it'll soften this corner in case Snoopy decides to run away or something. Now, on the very end, my other problem was I had to rob stone from the other end to really make it work. And I'll show you what I did down here. It's less than ideal, but, sometimes you just got to go with less than ideal because that's all you can do. Here's my less than ideal ending of the wall. I believe I took a small section here out and a full section here, and I put in all these broken pieces, the best broken pieces I had, and it ends right there. No one's going to see this because there's going to be a big boulder here. In fact, here it is. I have to somehow move this giant thing. My crane can only take it this far, so I'm hoping I can drag it with a tractor or something. But anyway, I'm going to put these big boulders along here to retain the slope about, so high, and then we'll fill that all in with soil. It's going to be a beautiful Bismarckia pond here. There's going to be so many. We'll do another video on all the cool stuff I'm putting in. But it'll basically have this look along here, all the way to the edge. And they'll be full of plants in here, and there will be nursery containers here and here. So I don't think anyone's going to come here and say, dude, that is the ugliest wall ending I've ever seen. And if they do, I'm going to kick them out. So that's pretty much where we're at. And we're going to, one last thing I'll show you is we have a really beautiful, I don't know what, I think it was a basin for a fountain. And the previous owners left me all kinds of things, including all this rock. Here's all the rock we're going to use for the ending by the pool there. And all this little rock we're going to use to line the pathway. But check this out. We have bunnies on property, and sometimes they eat the young citrus trees when they're young, which this one is not anymore. But they left me these things. So I'm going to move those, maybe with the crane, maybe with the tractor. We'll have to see if the tractor can pick them up. And I'm going to move those over to, that's going to be the fire pit right there. Crazy big fire pit. Maybe just one of them. I don't know. It's pretty big. I don't know if you want to fire that high. Probably just one. Not sure I'll do it the other one. But that's pretty much what we've got going on, and we're going to get back to work right now. Okay. I was raking up the area here, and it all makes sense now. I think I figured out how this whole dog toy proliferation thing occurred. And here's the evidence right here. Do you see it? It's right there. I'm pretty sure that if you trace it all back, probably 60 to 70% of the garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean can be attributed to Amazon Prime, because it makes it so easy to just consume stuff and then let it wash into the river and into the ocean. Anyway, you gotta love America, the land of free, and the hyper consumer. That's a little trade trick right there. See that? You have a cavity like this behind a wall, even though this is a free draining wall. And it's important that it's free draining because hydrostatic pressure can build up behind walls that aren't free draining and push them over because it's so much weight. But anyway, it's not important that this thing have good drainage behind it, because if you need good drainage, you can put a sub-drain back there, a pipe with holes in it at the bottom, and then a whole column of gravel. And that's what we did with the pool wall over there, because that is a solid wall that would hold pressure. But in this case, we have free draining. But anyway, in any event, this is a great opportunity to get rid of all of your inert, broken concrete, rocks, whatever, behind the wall, at least deep enough where you know you're not going to contact them again when you plant plants. And on the edge of the wall, we're not going to plant anything big. We'll plant little baby plants probably. And that's what's going on there. So don't got to be efficient. You don't want to fill the landfills up. Might as well make your own landfill. And that's what I'm doing right now. What we're looking for is our wall is 22 inches high, arguably 20 inches once it's buried. So we probably go anywhere from 20, 23, 22, 21, anywhere in there. We need one big flat edge to catch the wall. And ideally we need it to like kind of taper down with the grade. And I think I found a winner right here. And I'll show you why. It is from the point right here, got a nice flat edge. All the way to the top is exactly 22 inches, right there. So we could put this on the edge of the wall. This will be buried a little bit, and then the slope line will be right along here. And then we'll have the taper down, as I'm talking, like it'll taper the grade down like that. And so hopefully, I'd rather have a longer stone that didn't taper as quickly, but I think this one's gonna fit. The second place rock was this one over here. Has a nice flat edge to it. That would have been good, but it has this big chunk out of here, so you'd have a gap right there. So anyway, again, a beggar cannot be a chooser, but you can choose from whatever you got from begging. And this rock came free to me. It's been here for 3.5 years. The guy put a little driveway in. He had to blow up the rock. He blew it up himself. He was a mining operations engineer and designer. He designed major mining operations all over the world, and so he got some explosives himself. And there's a huge rock in front of that driveway, and he blew it up. Never done that before. But yeah, he drilled into it, and put some explosives into it, and he blew them up. And this was one big rock. Now it's a whole bunch of little fractured pieces. So we're going to use this for retaining on the other side of the wall. On each end of the wall, we'll have a big wall on the very end, and then the part where we have the fire pit, we'll just have one boulder terminating the wall. And that's our boulder. So I think the rock looks really good, except it's got to be perfect. Right now it's not. We have a gap. See the gap? So there's some finessing that needs to occur here. We're also going to have a little bit of a gap here.
Your system needs to be tight, and it can only be tight if there's a gap there. So what I need to do is dig that dirt down there out of the way and get it closer to the wall, maybe a little bit lower. I kind of like the idea that it's above the wall, though, instead of flush to it, almost like an armrest. So anyway, a little more finessing, I'll have it done.
Well, we've shifted gears a little bit. Does that not look like a fish swimming with the tail and then like one of those tropical fish, you know, like that's the eye, the mouth, and then here's the top. So that's, we're shifting gears. We're putting big boulders in over here. Finally got the wall totally done here. So we're gonna use all this angled rock over here. Starting to pull all the rock up. This rock was blasted out of the driveway when the previous owner, Bill McBride, who's a madman, even worse than me when it comes to this kind of thing, and he left me all this rock. 3.5 years later, I'm finally getting to moving this, and by moving it, this huge rock, there's no way I could pick it up with my little tractor, and it's not going to pick it up, it's going to get it through leverage. And I have some helpers here. This is Gonzalo. He takes care of the property for me. He's been here forever. Even his parents, his dad worked here long ago, right?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So how long have you been working on this property?
10 years.
10 years, right on. Okay, that's Gonzalo, and that's Gonzalo. That's Gonzalo is Gonzalo's cousin, right? Yeah. So here we go. We're gonna put this in here, and it's gonna look great when we're done.
Inch by inch.
If only I had a cameraman, I could have time-lapsed this whole thing. It would have been so much fun, but you know what? How's it going? Are we getting it done?
Yeah.
Look, there it is.
Yeah, it's almost there.
Got to get in here. So this is the biggest, toughest rock, and this point has to line up with this wall, and obviously we dug it out, so it's gonna be the keystone that comes off this wall. Just got a few more inches to go, and I think I'm just gonna give you a finish shot when we're done. Yeah, but the tractor is, it's a big rock. Did I say it was a big rock? Yeah, well, it's a big rock.
Everybody likes progress reports. There's the big boy right there. And then we put another big one next to it. I got these to fit in really well in here. And I can't wait to get my succulents in. So I have to give tips as I go because everybody likes a good tip, right? It's what you want, and you can't really see anymore because they're all in place. What I like to do, this is like a puzzle. That's a puzzle. Those are puzzle pieces. What do you do with the puzzle? Chalo, Gonzalo, when you're making a puzzle, you know a puzzle? How do you do it?
Just to pick up the puzzle. Was
Do you take, you don't know the puzzle? You know the little pieces that all fit together and they make a picture?
Uh-huh.
You put it on a table and you make a puzzle?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you just like reach in the box and pick one out and start looking for where it goes? No.
We just have to look for the right.
You gotta put them all on the table,
Yeah.
right next to the puzzle.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do here. That's what we're doing. So you gotta put all your rocks up. I brought them all from down the hill. Put them all out here so you can walk up to each one of them, look at them, figure it out. And anyway, now we are gonna get a rock right now. We have to be extremely careful because we're gonna go right next to this tile on this pull right here. It's gonna be a rock right here. And it has to have a flat, straight edge. The only one that we have that has a straight edge is this one right here. And that is our straight edge right there. So we're gonna utilize that and hopefully it'll fit and look good. Here we go. Progress report later.
So that right there, my friends, is where we're gonna relocate the boulder. And I'm moving right now with the tractor, okay? Got a lot of work done since I saw you last. Put a bunch of drains in. These are the best way of doing drains right here. There's a steel grate drain. Basically, it's just a basin. You put a bunch of mortar on the bottom and all around the sides to lock it in place really well. We've got pop-up irrigation spray heads on the edges where, you know, you wouldn't want a riser to get in your way if you're driving your tractor, like at a party on the patio. This is a sub-drain here. The big rock's going to be over there eventually. Dive off if I get a big enough crane in here to move it. Got another drain over there. I figure the water's going to come down over there. I'm going to put a rock right in that corner. And the sub-drain basically is a perforated pipe with holes in it. You put it in a sleeve so the roots and the dirt don't grow into the pipe. And that way, any water that gets down here, I'm going to fill this with gravel. And the gravel will be porous. And thereby, the water will flow into the pipe and then out, so you won't have like dirt flow going into my beautiful pool. And let's see here. I noticed something moving on this rock. Oh, there he is. There he is. He jumped off. Oh no, now he's going under the tractor. Dude, you gotta. That's not a good place. That's a bad place. All right, I gotta make sure I get this guy out of here. Oh man, he's in there deep. Is he in there? Can you see him? Can you see him? Is he in there? Oh, I gotta get him. Look at the beautiful abstract art that you can create on your patio if you're willing to drive your tractor on it. Those are rubber tracks, and that is rubber. Sometimes my clients freak out. I mean, sometimes if it was a client's house, we would have put down some tarp or something. But this just wears right off, no problem. So don't ever fret if you see these little tire marks out there. 2 or 3 weeks in the sun and the wind, and even faster if it's raining, these things will disappear. Okay, here's an example of real important to lay stuff out right the first time. Here's our drain, and there's our little fire pit area right there. Everything's looking good. I had basically built a ramp going up to this walkway. And believe it or not, this walkway is wide enough to take the golf cart. The gate down there, that one is not by an inch, unfortunately. But if you want to get down there and pick up something heavy and bring it back or vice versa, you could do that. And you can also take it up here. So I basically made a little ramp right there, some rocks that you can ride over. Eventually we'll have some gravel in here. The gravel will be this high, so that right now I'm going to test it with this. Test it with that little piece right there for the transition, and it should fit through here. If it was going straight, it would totally fit. But when you come at an angle, your rear end is farther over, and so I had to use really narrow stones here because you could see my bottle brushes wanting to hang over there. And so, but yeah, if we can make the golf cart go through there, that'd be great. So what I'm gonna do right now, I raked it all out, smoothed it off, and I'm going to run the golf cart through here. It's gonna tell me how far I can make this perimeter here after I go through and see if it works. So I'll let you know how that works. Okay, the tracks don't lie. There are the tracks. All right, let's see how I did here. I got through here and made it through. As you can see, I bumped one rock. These are gonna be embedded in 2 inches of decomposed granite, so they're gonna be held into place somewhat well. And they also will be slightly wider because as you go up in elevation, these rocks typically go in a little further. So it looks like I'm gonna be okay there. I also found out that I could actually drive the golf cart like through there and then back through this palm grove and out, like literally with a 1/4 inch to spare on both sides. So I don't think I'll let anyone else do it, but you know, if I've got a bunch of beer hauling it to the party, then I'll do it, no problem. So now, so what we're doing here is we're gonna try to catch all our drainage right here. So we need to basically make a big dam. And the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna have a little rock edge to retain that slope. I used the biggest rocks already. We'll use progressively smaller ones, or we'll double them up, whatever we gotta do. A nice little edge here. Match some of the stuff that's been done on the property before. And then ultimately there will be an entry point right here. Now I have to determine, I also want to be able to drive the golf cart through here and do a whole U-turn around the soil pile, which will eventually be plants and containers being grown. This was extra dirt from the pull dig that I'm mixing with compost to use as fill material to conceal the fact there's a nursery back here for my mound. But yeah, so now I gotta do the same trick, see where the golf cart wants to be. The golf cart wheels will sort of dictate where this planter will be. I'm gonna terminate the planter with a big rock, that rock right over there. It's gonna go here, somewhere in here. But I have to be able to drive around it and get through, get the right angle, and I have to be able to go this way. So that's what I'm gonna figure out right now. That's the next deal. Tire tracks don't lie. So I went over it a few times, and you can see coming in, coming out, it might be different. You can see where my wheel violated the line right here. So that means that I guess this rock needs to be right here, because that was the worst it violated. That wasn't totally exact coming out, that was from coming out. So that's where I'm gonna put the rock, right here, no further out than this. Right here, that'll be the end of it. This whole thing will be an opening, and then this will be an opening coming through here. There'll be a planter with tons of thick vegetation right there that stands upright, and that's what I'm thinking. This is like in high school when, right in front of school, senior year, somehow miraculously, every time I got to school 5 minutes late, my parking spot was still there, available. Look at that, my lucky day. And look at this. Look at this setup. Oh, it's looking sweet. Some head-high stuff coming in. Yes.
Well, this is what you do when you're not digging holes, moving dirt, planting plants, fixing irrigation, installing drainage. Every now and then you just gotta take a little break, you know what I mean? Anyway, it's my favorite spot. Probably shouldn't tell you where it is, but one of my favorite things is looking at these palm trees right there. Look at that. Anyway, just got out to surf. Some really good waves. There's some really good waves out there. Doesn't look like it right now, but there's some overhead waves pumping through here. Got some really long rides. Anyway, wearing my spring suit. It's January 16th, the middle of winter. The dead. It's the look. It's the dead of winter in San Diego. So that's how we roll.
What's better than an evening sunset surf in summer when it's winter? An evening sunset surf and an In-N-Out burger right afterward. So, yeah, they used to let you sit on the tables over there, but they don't let you do that anymore. I hate sitting in my car. So I just pulled up my whole setup here, look. What I didn't realize is this is the exit for all the people coming out. So everybody that orders a burger goes by me and gives me a big look. And one guy honked his horn and smiled and got a couple more smiles. So anyway, you just got to work your way around the virus, you know. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy yourself. It's like 65 degrees. I want to eat outdoor dining tonight, right? Yeah, right. I just got the hang loose sign. Okay, guys, here's a landscape tip. I had all these little rocks, really good hard granite rocks, and lots and lots of them. So I decided to edge the whole thing around here with these guys. I also had 4 bags of mortar left over from another project from like a year ago, and that mortar was in my garage. And you can't leave mortar in your garage forever unless you have an extremely dry climate like the desert. We're pretty dry here, but there's still some humidity, because eventually it'll just harden up just from the humidity in the air. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna I've got a pretty solid base here. This works pretty well if you have a really solid base. See my base? It's like rock hard. But anyway, I decided to solidify these guys in here, put a little mortar on the front. That'll get covered in gravel up to this level hill. We'll have 2 inches of gravel. And you can see it acts like a little retaining wall. I've got backing behind it that I packed in by hand, a little bit in front. This is not strong enough for like a curb and a truck or a car. If it hits it, it's gonna knock those loose. But my little golf cart should be able to rub against that and it should be fine. And so I'm kind of continuing that all along here, making a backing. And if I have extra, I'll put a little in the front. But really here, I'm just gonna have the backing, and hopefully it'll hold together. The pro and the con to it is as long as it holds together, you're good. If it doesn't, it's kind of a hassle to put it back because the mortar's there. So, but this should give me a little more of a strong solution. Let me show you what I did with all the other rock right here. Okay, so believe it or not, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pallets of this little granite rock. You can see what they did here. The whole property, all the pathways are lined with this rock. See what happens when the cars hit it? Kind of have to put it back. The guy before me, he mortared this a little bit. So as long as you don't hit it, you're good. But if they're not mortared in, they kind of pop loose sometimes. You got to put them back. But anyway, it makes for like a really nice edging for pathways. And so, not being one to ever throw away any material that I get for free or inherit, I used all of it over here. Apparently it's a byproduct at the quarry for free. And so, believe it or not, this used to be a big pond here. This whole area was a pond. And it went all the way to here. And there's a giant waterfall over here, I'll show you. And they filled it in before I bought it because nobody wanted to buy this property with this giant lake because it was a hassle to take care of. I'm sure it was beautiful. But here's the waterfall. All the plumbing is still in here, and apparently it sounded like a jet engine when they turned it on. The plumbing's behind there in the back. But anyway, they filled it in, so I decided to make a palm grotto out of it. These are all palm trees and sago palms. As you can see, our Kentia palms got completely burned this year because we got some record temperatures, and they're now coming back, but they got hit hard. I might have to swap those out with Bacario Phoenix Alfredii is what I'm thinking. But anyway, you can see how the paths look. They look great. They're wide enough for my little tractor to come through here in case we need to, that's a frog, Mr. Frog, in case we need to get in here to trim and stuff. And you can see here there was an island. We're still in the pond, in the old pond. I saw this on the aerial when I bought the property. When I got here, it was gone. So there used to be a bridge right here, and that went to the island. And now the island's still there with the palm trees. You know, my daughter sleeps right here with a hammock. And there's your island right there to hang out and drink your tequila shots on, or your mineral water, or whatever you're getting turned on by. And then the pond went all the way around the island. There was a boat dock over there, and here's the, whatever you want to call this, another party pad. Not sure if they swam in it because there was no pool here at that time. But anyway, this is what I did with all the rock. I think it came out great. And we have like pretty much no rock left over after we got this done. We had a few rocks laying around. Where'd they go? And we had like 6 rocks left over from this. And that's it. So anyway, there it is. It's getting better every day. Snoopy, should we do a recap on what we accomplished on this trip? So, if you're wondering, Snoopy's not because he saw the whole thing go down. Here is our little fire pit area. Concrete blocks, thanks to Joe Garcia, as we mentioned before. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Hopefully he'll get down here and hang out with me down here and go surf. Keeps promising to. When's that going to happen, Joe? Anyway, what else do we have here? We got our fire pit all set up. We've got the beautiful serpentine shape of the stones. There's hardly any stones left. It was great. Actually, there's no stones left. They all got used. In fact, every single rock that I had on property from the owner before got used, including these 2 here that I found. I was like, what am I going to do with this little transition to dirt? And then I found these 2 rocks after I thought I was totally out of rock. We've got our little rock border. You know, right here, we're going to fill this in with dirt later. Give you guys another finished shot in the next stage. I'm probably going to plant a bunch of lady palms in here and create a hedge. If I create a hedge here, you won't see all this stuff. Imagine if there's like a whole hedge of lady palm there. And we need to put gravel in here. Here's the leftover stones. I basically had the beautiful stone here on the edge of the wall, which took forever to set perfectly because I had to get it, you know me, just perfect. And it's perfect now. This is just big enough to accept my golf cart, so I can take my golf cart that way for garden maintenance and this way for delivering beer to the party. So I've got a few more rocks I set out here, and we're going to set some real big ones over here. I didn't get my drain rock in yet, which is unfortunate, but I have to go home now and work. The way it works is, you know, you only have so much free time, you only have so much money. It's basically you go out, work, make money, then you can buy materials. And then you get some free time, come down here and do this kind of thing. I've been doing this for 3.5 years here. Finally getting this place together. Our growing ground in San Diego, which is also a home that I rent out to pay the mortgage. Nurseries in the back hill over there. And of course, right here, as you see, hidden away behind my wall. So we're ready to receive a huge rock right here. We have a giant rock in the front we're gonna put there with the crane. That'll be a fun episode. What else did I get done here? These are just temporarily placed. They're all crooked and all over the place. We're gonna set those in mortar really nice. The next episode, probably, from this property. And then, so if you're ever wondering, like, well, why isn't Gary answering the phone? How come he's not calling me back right now? I might be here, trying to get stuff done. Anyway, we did this a while ago, but then we got all these boulders. Look at all the boulders I inherited with the property. So this was really quite fantastic to get this part finished. And we're gonna have this whole thing loaded with all kinds of exotic palms. In fact, I've been growing palms in here. This is a mess. I have to redo all this. Every couple of years, you got to redo your shade house. Everything grows out. But look at this. Here's a Prochardia. We'll probably use these. This is a native Hawaiian palm. I got a bunch of cool stuff. I've got these royal palms in here. I have this banana, special banana. So anyway, that's thanks to Jeff Modesto. He is on YouTube called Just Jeff, I believe. Look him up. He's great. And yeah, now here we go. Monstera deliciosa. One of my favorite tropical plants. Look at that thing. So I'm going to do my next video on Monstera deliciosa, this plant right here. I'll probably plant this one amongst the rocks. This is kind of how it might be growing in its native habitat. So check in with the next episode, and I promise I'll finish up probably in a month or 2. I'll come back down here after I do some more work at home and spend another week or 2 and finish this entire landscape. Then it'll be dialed in. So check out the next video on Monstera. I have a fruit I'm going to eat for breakfast right now.